federal government has unveiled its long-promised national auto strategy at a time when Donald Trump's tariffs have put intense pressure on the industry. And the new strategy will see Canada pull away from the U.S. Our Caryn Ceolin spoke with Industry Minister Melanie Joly about what that'll mean for the big three U.S.-based automakers here in Ontario.
Minister, thank you so much for making the time. I really appreciate it. I wanted to begin with your government's approach to repealing the EV sales mandate in favor of more stringent emissions standards.
Yeah.
Why go that route? We
decided to change things and to make sure that it would be based on the auto manufacturer to reduce, like they want, EVs, hydrogen, whatever, they're basically GHG emissions. And we're aligning ourselves with Europe. It's a first. We've never done that, but we think that it is important. If you look at how the industry is evolving across the world, by 2035, 40% of the cars sold in the world will be EVs. And we don't want to be the ones that are basically not embracing progress. The US can take their own decisions. We will obviously work on having a good deal with them, but there are things we cannot control, and we cannot control what's going on, especially in the White House.
The Detroit Three have lobbied Congress, they've lobbied the White House for significant relief from California's emission standards, for instance. We know how President Donald Trump feels about this. If the overall goal is to keep manufacturing in Canada, why impose more stringent standards that are not synonymous or may not harmonize with what's going on in the US? How does that achieve that?
Well, if you look at the production in Canada of cars, at this point this year, 77% of all the cars produced in the country are done by Honda and Toyota. And the Japanese automakers have been the ones that are actually invested very much in the country. Even since the trade war started, they've increased their production, imagine that. And in 40 years, they haven't done one major layoffs. And we think that they will be able to also adapt to these GHG emission standards. They're employing thousands of workers in Woodstock, in Cambridge, and Alliston. And we want to make sure that we support them. Meanwhile, of course, we will invest in those who invest in us. If the D3 are reducing their footprint in Canada, we're taking stock of that.
What does this mean then, though, for those workers who are already, dealing with idled plants in Ingersoll, in, Brampton? GM in Oshawa has just cut a third shift. Yeah. What does it mean for them if the big three now balk at the new regulations?
So at the core of this strategy is really to attract new automakers to Canada. In the 80s, when the D3 were cutting jobs and closing plants across the country, what did the government at the time did? It was the Brian Mulroney's Conservatives. They decided to go to Japanese automakers, and they made sure that Japanese automakers were investing in Canada. 40 years later, where are we? They're 77% of our production. So we think we have to invest in them. And at the same time, we're allowing new players to come in. And I must say also, Volkswagen just is constructing a battery plant right now as we speak in St. Thomas. They are hiring 3,000 employees very soon. So that's an example. Also, LG Stellantis is hiring right now in Windsor for a new battery plant as well. We think that there's going to be opportunities there. Is it enough? No, it's never enough.
The MOU you signed recently with the intention of bringing South Korean car manufacturing to this country. I imagine in part that has to do with Korea's bid to build the next generation of submarines for this country. Is this a message you're trying to send to other countries that want to compete, that they, in order to win big procurement deals, they're going to have to make big investments in this country, and the days of just promising a few local jobs is over?
Absolutely. Canadians' taxpayers' dollars are going to go either to Germany or to Korea. At the end of the day is how can they help also us to solve some of the problems linked to the trade war? And we're definitely interested in having a car plant, and that is certainly part of the conversations we've been having. You know, we see very positively, very favorably the fact that there's a true competition, and I think that's exactly what we want throughout the bidding process. At this point, it's all about industrial benefits. Concretely speaking, what does that mean? Job creation in Canada.
Okay, Minister, I'll leave it there.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much for the time.
Thanks.